Brown502, thank you for joining the stream, my man. First video we are watching today is why aren't characters iconic anymore? Okay, now, I think this is a very interesting topic, I'm not gonna lie. And Mr. Darth Vader there, is a great reason why I want to talk about this video, or talk and watch this video, because chat, characters are not iconic anymore, okay? I'm gonna just keep it a buck. Characters are not iconic anymore. Darth Vader, like, compare Darth Vader to Kylo Ren. That's pretty much all you need to know, in terms of what this video is gonna be about, for me at least. You got Kylo Ren, like, Star Wars as a whole is just washed, I'm not gonna lie, compared to, the prequels and the original, original Star Wars movies. Jovan Edis, thank you for joining. However, okay, some things about Star Wars now are kind of cool. Kylo Ren was sick in the first one until he took his helmet off. And then he became a bitch. I'm not gonna lie, okay? There's so many other movies where we've seen, like, the sequels don't hit as hard as the originals. Like, you got people like Marty McFly from Back to the Future. Just an OG 1980s iconic character. You know? And I couldn't even, like, the closest, like, iconic character we have now, to, in my opinion, is Paul Atreides from Dune. Or, like, I don't even think, like, Spider-Man's still iconic now, just as iconic as he was back then. But people also have so much more to judge with Spider-Man now compared to back then. Because there's so many different Spider-Man media outlet, like, or not outlets, media, what's the word? Vonyek, what's the word? Media content? Yeah, like, there's, like, what, 10 Spider-Man movies, I'm pretty sure?
I want them alive!
Darth Vader only has 37 minutes of screen time in the original Star Wars trilogy.
Insane.
And he is one of, if not the most iconic movie characters of all time.
Insane.
Compare this to Kylo Ren.
He's the GOAT. No, literally!
2 minutes of screen time across the sequels. That's 25 minutes more in a trilogy that adjusted for inflation.
And he sucks! And he sucks!
So why is
no one fucks with Kylo!
But Kylo Ren isn't. This is the relative
Bro,
Google search.
I'm gonna just keep it real, bro.
Darth Vader is consistent.
No one fucks with Kylo, alright? No one, alright?
Higher and on average has 4 times more interest.
Yes, my master.
He has about 49 million more search results than Kylo Ren.
Oh!
It's clear that Darth Vader has much more of a lasting legacy.
Darth-
You can say it's because of better writing.
Darth
and more
Vader's
interesting
dog
design,
walking him.
and he's had about 50 years to marinate in movies that are generally more well liked.
I sense something.
And all of this is probably true. But I think there's something deeper at play here. Because can you name me a truly iconic character from the 2020s? The 2010s had Marvel, the 2000s had
Marvel.
Harry Potter, the 90s had Kevin McAllister and Neo, the 80s had Indiana Jones and a bunch of slasher movie villains, and the 70s had Star Wars.
Dude,
Well,
oh my
basically
gosh.
everyone is
And that's another thing. Slasher films. Bro, slasher films are just not even, they're copy and paste now. Somehow, some way, we've ran out of ways to make murderers. Like, what are we talking about? Okay?
iconic. So what has changed? Are movies just worse now? I don't think that's it. I think there's been a wider shift in how we consume media and storytelling. Things are more temporary now and nothing seems to have much lasting impact. And a good way of understanding this is through the lens of iconic characters.
Ooh. See, but like, even, like, that was a good one. Avatar. Who is it? Jake Sully? Like, Avatar, dude, I don't think people understand. Avatar has been clearly one of the most successful movie franchises of all time. You know, they've made a ton of money, and they're going to make a 4th movie. However, just imagine if they would have came out with the second one, like, a year or 2 after the first one came out, instead of, like, 7 years after. Boy, oh my goodness, they would have made so much freaking money. I mean, and Jake Sully, I'll say, that's his name, right? He is a awesome character and would be much more iconic, I feel like, if those movies would have all came out together. together instead of fucking Avatar 1 coming out in like 2009 and Avatar 2 coming out in what, 2021? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You done lost all your luster. Like, what are we talking about? You done lost your spark.
This is how Merriam-Webster defines iconic: of relating to or having the characteristics of an icon, widely recognized and well established.
Well.
Widely
Yeah, that is true. What makes a movie iconic? Or what makes a movie character iconic, I guess I should be saying. Widely known.
acknowledged, especially for distinctive excellence.
Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist.
Okay, so this is kind of helpful, but it doesn't really tell us anything we don't know. In truth,
Yeah.
there aren't many ways to objectively measure whether or not a character has icon status. You kind of just know it when you see it.
Yeah, it's just like a
from her, you bitch.
feeling. I don't know how to
So let's
explain
take
it.
a look at some characters that are undoubtedly iconic
It's like
to
cinema.
help us get a better understanding.
I don't really understand it. What do you want this loan for?
I want to build a giant space station that can destroy a planet.
Darth Vader, probably the most iconic movie character of all time.
Yeah.
Your father.
He's on
I don't know. Is Darth Vader more iconic than like... Ooh, hold up. Let me think. Is he more iconic than like Jason? Or... Is he more iconic than like... No, yeah, he's pretty freaking iconic. Like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. I don't know why I feel like Gollum's a pretty iconic. Like Harry Potter, I feel like Harry Potter and Darth Vader, or like Voldemort. Voldemort's pretty up there.
bed sheets, lunchboxes, a gargoyle at the National Cathedral in Washington, D.C., The Simpsons, and Family Guy.
Yeah,
I don't know that
Darth
would be
Vader's
a good
referenced in
investment on
everything.
our
And I'd say one of the main reasons he's so celebrated.
To be fair though, Family Guy has also referenced everything. They did an entire like Star Wars like 2-3 episode series. Like, what are we talking about?
design. Let's break it down. From his introduction, the darkness of his suit stands in contrast to the white ship and white stormtroopers. We know this is a guy who is large and in charge. He means business.
On God, he means
This is
business.
similar to the slew of slasher movie villains from around this time. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger. The William Shatner mask,
The
coffin
goats.
mask, and striped jumper.
The
They've all got
goats.
an image that's hard to forget. In a different light, we've got Indiana Jones.
Also,
Sure,
sad.
Shatner
Like,
was iconic, but what I think
I'm not gonna lie, chat. I'm not an Indiana Jones fan. I'm gonna keep it a buck. I do not think that motherfucker is cool. Really. I don't know. I just don't think he's that cool. But, like, I understand why people like Indiana Jones. My mom, big Indiana Jones fan. I understand.
makes this character truly special is Harrison Ford's performance.
And who's gonna come to save you?
Like, I honestly like him as Han Solo better than Indiana Jones.
Don't call me.
I feel like he's more iconic as
In
Han
reality,
Solo.
there's too many to name. And again, no
Dude, that boy,
objective way
Kevin
to measure if a certain
McAllister. Dude, Kevin McAllister, Macaulay Culkin's got to be one of the most iconic. Like, he is iconic in terms of, like, Christmas, at least. He owns Christmas at this point. Him and Mariah Carey should just get married under mistletoe. They own Christmas.
character has icon status or not. All of the people I'm showing
Keanu
on screen now are
Reeves.
iconic in my opinion.
Keanu Reeves is pretty
but maybe
iconic.
not yours.
Everybody hear me? Up on the shelf, can you hear me? Great.
But what about modern examples? Surely there's at least a few from this decade.
Soaking wet right now.
Paul Atreides
Yeah.
could be up there. He's
Yeah.
got a strong performance.
The
He's in
GOAT.
popular and successful films.
He's
but has
def-
he cut through to mainstream audiences?
After Dune 3 comes out, you bet your bottom dollar tushy that motherfucker is going to be known as iconic, okay? They're going to be screaming for more.
the way Marvel did? Other contenders might be Benoit Blanc, Barbie and Ken, Jake Sully.
Let's get it done.
To help us, and maybe
Benoit
highlight how this
Blanc?
decade has failed to produce
Nah,
any undisputed
James Bond.
icons, let's take a look at maybe the most objective
Bella
way to
Bax.
measure a film's popularity.
Nah, Lockjaw, unfortunately, isn't that
These are the top
iconic,
10
I feel
highest
like.
grossing movies worldwide of the 2020s.
Dude.
In
Barbie? I still got to watch Neza 2.
at number 1 is Avatar. The Way of
Avatar's
Water.
gas.
It's become a bit of a meme to joke about Avatar's cultural impact, or lack thereof. It's pretty much just
Yeah.
these two memes. And despite being an Avatar fan, I do generally admit that for the amount of money they make, it's strange they don't inhabit the zeitgeist as much as you'd expect.
Yeah.
The main character is Jake Sully,
Excellent.
but I'm willing to bet most people won't recognize that name. It's hard to say he's iconic. Maybe his
Yeah.
design is part of this.
But-
He doesn't look all that different from anyone around him. He's just a normal looking blue alien.
Yeah.
And despite having 2 movies in the last 2 years, his
Matthew,
Google
thank you for
searches
joining.
never overtook Vader's.
Oh, heck no. No, not
Number
even
2
close.
is Nijar 2.
I need to
haven't
watch
seen
this.
it,
I've
and I
heard
don't
this
think
movie's
many
gas.
people in the West have, so not iconic here, but maybe in China.
I'm about to say the only reason, like, Neza 2 is from what I've heard, it's a gas movie and it's got insane reviews, but it's a Chinese movie, is it not? So like, obviously, it's not gonna be iconic in the U.S. or to American people, because a lot of us haven't even seen it. I don't even know, like, is it on a streaming platform to see? I haven't seen it on a streaming
Next
platform
up,
to see.
Spider-Man No Way Home.
You okay?
Ooh.
My bad.
Nah,
There's
this
no
movie's
doubt
pretty
Spider-Man
iconic.
as a character is iconic, but is this specific iteration of Spider-Man iconic?
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
I got a middle back thing too.
We've also got 3 animated movies. Maybe
Tom
it's
Holland's
because I
pretty
don't know any
iconic.
kids, but it's hard to say Zootropolis is iconic. Maybe you could make a case for Inside Out.
Inside
Mario is
Out's
another
become pretty
Spider-Man case,
iconic.
but the character is certainly iconic, but less so this specific
Mario's-
incarnation. But do any
Well-
of them have the legacy of The Incredibles or Toy Story?
We're not aiming for the
Ooh.
truck.
Number 6.
Does Super Mario Galaxy and Super Mario have the same kind of impact as Toy Story? That's a crazy question, because realistically, like, we grew up on Mario, playing like the Mario games, but the younger generation is watching the movies. So, you know what I mean? Chat? I don't know. Like, hello, mate. Love your stream and would like to be a fan and friend. Add me up on Discord. User is making. I got you, brother. I got you. Yes, sir. Thank you for the love. But no, yeah. So, like, we technically also are kind of an audience for the Mario movies because we actually played the games when we were younger. And I don't know, like, I feel like us playing on, like, Nintendo 64 and, like, those kinds of consoles and whatnot playing Mario is a little bit different than kids playing on, like, a Nintendo Switch playing Mario now, you know? I don't know. I just feel like it's a little different.
Is Top Gun Maverick. I'd say Tom Cruise is iconic, but
Nah.
not necessarily any individual character of his.
Cap, Maverick's iconic. If you don't think Maverick's iconic, you're full of shit. What? Dude, Top Gun is like, I'm sorry, there's like Top Gun and there's Independence Day. Those are like the 2 like 4th of July American hoorah United States movies. Like, come on now. And Maverick is that guy. Like, if you've seen Top Gun or Top Gun Maverick, he's him. Like, what do you mean? I haven't seen any Mission Impossible movies.
Barbie is an interesting one. At the time, it certainly seemed iconic. It broke through into the
Ooh,
mainstream.
Oppenheimer's
became a wider
iconic.
cultural moment.
Barbie might
but
be
is
a little
anyone still
iconic.
talking about it?
Hi, Barbie.
And then at number 10, we've got Deadpool Wolverine. And in this case, yeah, I think both characters are iconic. But
Yeah.
while they certainly had a boost to their status
Nah,
in
this movie's pretty
2023, they didn't
iconic, I
debut
feel
in
like.
the 2020s. And obviously, they're both based on comics, so that
Yeah.
complicates things.
Yeah.
So, what can we learn by looking at these box office numbers? Well, first of all, there's a severe lack
Okay.
of
I think, hold on, sorry. I know I keep pausing it. I think Deadpool as a character, I think he has become like insanely more popular since the movies came out. Deadpool already had a lot of fans, but once his movies came out and once Ryan Reynolds became Deadpool and like pretty much made himself that character through his movies, that is when Deadpool became iconic, because there is no Ryan Reynolds without Deadpool. There is no Deadpool without Ryan Reynolds, point blank, period. And Wolverine, with this movie, this is the first movie we actually got to see Wolverine be like comic accurate, like where comic accurate with the suit at least, you know? And like it was the same one from Logan, right? Yeah. So, which made it even better because the Logan Wolverine was sick. So, I'm rambling. Hold up.
original content.
That's bad.
The only non-sequels on here are based on maybe the most well-known video game character of all time, and maybe
Yeah,
the
exactly.
most well-known toy of all time. But
Yeah.
It also reveals that despite box office numbers, it's very hard to find empirical,
movies aren't
data-driven
so
evidence over a character's
much-
iconic status and cultural legacy.
The movies so much aren't as iconic, I guess, as the actual like characters themselves, you know? And a lot, I guess that's one of the biggest things now with movies is that movies really like movies now are all just kind of either like sequels or based off of things that have already been made per se, like what was the one he just showed? No. Like Barbie's a toy, Deadpool's
The
a
only
comic.
non-sequels on here are based on maybe
Mario's a game. Like you got game, comic, toy. Like
the most well-known video game character of all time, and maybe the most well-known toy of all time. But it also reveals that despite box office numbers, it's very
Like, I
hard
don't
to
know,
find
Avatar
empirical,
was, I guess,
data-driven
like, an
evidence
original
over a character's
idea.
iconic status and cultural
Top
legacy.
Gun, I guess, was like
All
an
of these
original
movies were massive
idea.
at the time, but one,
F1
2, or
was
3
pretty
years later,
iconic.
most of them have fallen out of the
I feel like.
discourse.
I am Spider-Man.
But being iconic is so much more than just numbers. Going back to that definition, it's about being widely known and acknowledged. Of
Yeah.
course, time will tell, and maybe it's a bit unfair to look at films that are so recent because they haven't had that time to marinate.
Sinners.
But being iconic is
Interesting.
vibes based, and do any of these characters seem
Pulp
like they'll
Fiction.
be iconic in 10
Yeah,
years'
Pulp
time?
Fiction's gas.
I don't have the capacity
White Widow,
to
thank
do
you for
a mass
joining.
survey and see what characters people have and haven't heard of. But what I can do is ask someone who's relatively removed from the fast-paced online discourse, who is a casual moviegoer. Someone who's a good litmus test as to whether or not a character has broken through into the mainstream and isn't just popular across these hyper-individual social media algorithms. My mum.
What?
So I sent over some photos of characters and simply asked her to name them.
Darth Vader.
She got the obvious ones like Jack Sparrow, Darth Vader, and Indiana Jones.
Oh, wow.
Ellen Ripley
Oh, yeah,
was
Jack
Alien
Sparrow.
Ripley, which is close enough, and she was unsure of Jason, but did get him in the end. Then I started testing
Oh,
the
wow.
waters. She called Benoit Blanc LeBlanc, and to my surprise, she managed to get the name of Jake Sully. But I was a little disappointed
Hey.
she got the Atom Bomb guy. She works in a school with young kids, so I thought she'd get this no problem, but no idea on Zootopia. Honora was a no, the whale was a yes. She doubted herself on John Wick, but eventually got it right.
Oh, wow.
What I found was
John
that for the
Wick,
older
good
characters,
guess.
she could name
What?
them pretty easily, but for the newer ones, she recognized the film,
Mia
but
Wallace.
not necessarily the character, which is interesting. Why do older characters break through and become iconic?
Sinners
in
for sure. Sinners, I'm not gonna. I don't remember their names at all in Sinners. It was like, was it like Buckshot and Billy or some shit? I don't remember. There was way too many characters in Sinners. I feel like half of them just ended up dead anyway.
Whereas newer ones don't. What are they not doing? To find out, let's take a look at what these older icons have in common. To put it simply,
Ethan
what makes a
Hawke.
character
Oh yeah,
iconic?
the grabber. I forgot that's what he was called.
First of all, we've got the design, which we've already touched on. A great design tells us about a character without saying anything. From his looks alone, we know Darth Vader is evil and commanding. From
Yeah.
Michael Myers' expressionless mask, we know this is a relatively empty vessel. It can be simple like a
Empty
dirty
vessel
vest
is
or a
crazy.
tuxedo and a rose, but it has to be recognizable and fit the character.
Tuxedo Rose. Oh yeah.
We've also got performance.
Okay, Thanos. Yeah, no, he makes a great point. The way your character looks plays a huge factor on how recognizable, memorable that character is. Like all the Star Wars characters are pretty iconic and recognizable because they all have very different features, like Darth Vader, Yoda, even fucking like Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, Anakin, Padme. They all have their own look, very much so. And also in Marvel, like each superhero literally has their own custom designed costume and whatnot. So they are all very easy to remember. Thanos, especially, he's like just a big fucking purple guy with a gauntlet. Like, yeah, you know that's Thanos.
Without doubt, the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
Jack
Sparrow's
Sparrow.
design was good, but I'd argue it was Johnny Depp's performance that made the character what it is.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
the same for Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter, and why Heath Ledger's Joker seems to be the most
Heath
iconic
Ledger's
incarnation
Joker.
of that character.
Heath Ledger's Joker might be the most. Him and Darth Vader, honestly, yeah, I would say him and Darth Vader are probably 1 and 2. I'm okay with saying that confidently.
Take the performance away, and I can't see these characters being as celebrated as they are. And another factor is the music. When you hear this, you think of Darth Vader.
Oh my. It's
When you
so
hear
tough.
this,
You
you think of Indiana Jones.
Yeah, very, very true. Very
It's
true.
the same for Jack Sparrow and Harry Potter. If a character is
Yeah.
associated with a catchy
The
and
score.
recognizable song, it's inevitable
That's why
it
Dune's
become
gonna
more
be
memorable.
iconic.
It certainly helped Darth Maul and Flash Gordon.
Oh my god, yeah.
But what modern character has a theme tune that's iconic as any of these? Maybe Avengers,
Jurassic
but that
Park.
was at least 7 years ago. Like design, music acts as a shortcut to a character.
What the fuck?
But what modern character has a theme tune that's iconic as any of these? Maybe Avengers, but that was at least 7 years ago. Like design, music acts as a
Stan,
shortcut
thank you for
to
joining.
a character.
What the heck?
But these are all fairly superficial factors. If we want to go deeper, we can look at the context in which the character is presented to us.
Yeah.
We can examine their cultural resonance. In an article from 2024, Every Movie Has a Lesson argues that iconic characters tend to reflect the cultural moment they come from. They point to how Bonnie and Clyde and Travis Bickle reflect the disillusionment and turbulence of the late 60s and 70s. We can see the change in mood as we go into the 80s in Rocky Balboa, originating as a working class hero in 1976,
Yeah.
before turning into an all-American crusader against communism in the 80s.
Yeah,
It's
that's
an
very
interesting
true.
proposal,
I didn't
and think
realize that,
reflecting the
but
cultural moment
very much like what is going on in present time has a lot to do with who is becoming iconic and who is not. Because especially nowadays, I mean, characters can't become as iconic because boundaries can't really be pushed as far in movies as they used to be. And I mean, sadly, like, Kylo Ren is supposed to be a villain, but he is not as intimidating or as tough looking or as hard paws as Darth Vader. And it's kind of like that, I feel like, with a lot of, like, villains, especially now. Like, the villains are just dulled down in a lot of movies, so they're not even, they're not even worth, like, caring about. They're not intimidating. They're not worth your time. Like, a lot of characters also just aren't as, they don't add as much importance to the story as they used to. Like, really. Honestly, Dune's a great example. Dune, there are so many freaking characters in Dune. The only two characters I need to know about are Paul Atreides. I think Rhea's her name, Zendaya. Yeah, that's about it. Not gonna lie.
can certainly help a character become more resonant,
Thomas Anderson?
but I don't think it's essential.
Yeah, that's me.
Instead, I'd argue that in order for a character to be iconic, they have to be relatively simple.
Where are those transmissions you intercepted? What have you done with those plans?
Don't hate me for saying this, but Darth Vader is a pretty simple character.
I am altering the
Oh, yeah.
deal.
For the sake of argument, I'm going to ignore all the prequel business, because while that certainly added
Yeah.
to him, he gained his icon status before that.
Pray I
Yeah, he
won't
did.
alter it any further.
So what do we have? In his first scene, he walks into a room and strangles an unarmed prisoner. He blows up a planet. He's literally on the dark side.
Don't know the power.
The
of
goat.
dark
He the goat,
He's an
bruh.
unambiguously evil character. He very much
That
fits
boy the
into the
goat.
archetype of
He's
the
so
Dark
fucking
Lord.
clean.
It's the same as Sauron and Voldemort.
Yep, Sauron's
We
pretty,
also have the
pretty
Chosen One archetype,
intimidating.
who goes from nothing to saving the world, fulfilling some kind of prophecy or restoring some ancient power.
You're a wizard,
Yeah.
Harry.
And then there's the wise sage character, someone who's typically very old and learned in the power the Chosen One wields.
800 years have I trained Jedi.
What I'm trying to get at here is that oftentimes the most iconic
Yeah.
characters are the simplest ones. Indiana
For
Jones is
sure.
quite a straightforward adventure.
They're archetypes, yeah, that's what makes them iconic. 806 Charlie, thank you for joining.
Simple, and their arc's straightforward.
Where's the Italian?
The crazy thing is, though, a lot of those characters, I mean, even Darth Vader, like, Darth Vader and, like, the Joker are very complex characters. The movies just don't really give them justice in terms of how complex they are.
Free of this pain.
Maybe this is why Kylo Ren doesn't have the staying power as Darth Vader, because if you think about it, he's a more complex character.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the
And they
strength to
make
do it.
them
He's
too
constantly torn
complex.
between the light and the dark, between wielding supreme power and living up to his family name. But Darth Vader, sure, he has his redemption arc
soft.
at the end, but this isn't super layered. For the most part, he's a straightforward evil guy, and this is why we love him. So are modern characters more complicated now? Is that why they're not iconic?
Yes,
Or do they not have good designs, good
100%.
performances?
Every single character now, and this, I mean, this isn't really a good or a bad thing, but I feel like every character in a movie now, whether they're a side character or whether they're the main character, they have some kind of problem going on. It's like there can't ever just be characters with nothing going on anymore.
Great music or a cultural resonance. I don't think that's it. I think a character today can have all of this, but still not become iconic. Let's take Marty Mauser. There's a great performance. Had a
Okay,
banging
Marty's-
story,
I
soundtrack, and
fuck with
created a
Marty.
cultural moment with the marketing campaign.
Robert Pattinson. Schwap!
Yeah.
But in 5 years' time, will people still be talking about Marty Mauser?
It's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties
I
box.
do really
Even
like
if you
Marty
have all the markers
Supreme,
of an icon, it's much harder for a character to break through and become.
but I
iconic
like
today.
Paul Atreides
To
more.
prove this, let's have a look at another unconventional way to measure icon status.
The Fortnite test? The Fortnite test?
Basically, every iconic character.
Jalen,
can be
make sure you
found
spam that like button, baby, if you're
So
enjoying
I
the
chose
stream.
from every skin Fortnite has ever done, and there was a lot.
Oh,
Here's what I
wow.
learned.
Yeah, that's true.
I looked mainly at the skins that can be generally associated with the 2020s, meaning it belongs to a character or IP that is still active today. I found 20. Out of these, 7 were celebrities. This is musicians and influencers like Sabrina Carpenter, Mr. Beast, and Speed, leaving us 13 movie skins. Out of this, 7 were promotional. This is Jared Leto and Tron Ares, a grabber
wow.
from the Black Phone, characters
wow.
from the new Superman movie and Stranger Things. This leaves us with 6 non-promotional skins. Art the Clown, Avatar,
Ooh.
Godzilla and Kong, Into the Spider-Verse, Dune, Mandalorian. So are these the most iconic characters of the 2020s? Maybe. I do think that Stranger
Art's
Things and
pretty-
Squid
yeah,
Game,
he's
despite being
getting up
promotional,
there.
certainly belong on this list too.
Squid
So if
Games.
we add their
The Squid Games costume and Squid Games as a whole has definitely become an iconic thing. And the fact that it's pretty much a popular show across the entire world is what makes it even more iconic. Art the Clown, though, he is the one slasher that has been able to stand the test of time, and his movies actually just keep getting better because they keep getting more money to make the fucking movies because it started off as low-budget movies.
and it means that Squid Game is the only TV or movie that's completely original and began in the 2020s. So is player 456, Seong Ji-hoon, the most iconic original character of this decade.
I don't even remember his
That
name,
doesn't
though. I'm
seem
gonna keep
right.
it. I'm keeping it
Again,
above.
like the box office test and like the mum test.
The
this
show is
isn't
iconic.
scientific
I wouldn't
or
say the
objective in
characters
any way.
are as
It's a
much.
vibes-based test for a vibes-based
I don't
definition of iconic. But what this does reveal, in a shock to basically no one, is this. Look, you've heard this before. From that top 10 list of highest grossing movies, not a single one isn't a sequel or based on an already existing IP.
Yeah.
Hollywood is out of ideas, it's a definite
Out of
original
ideas, yeah,
storytelling, you get
literally.
the picture. And naturally, with less original stories being told, there's going to be less original characters, and therefore less newly minted iconic characters.
This way, Mario!
And when new
Yeah.
characters are introduced into
That's
existing IP,
crazy.
they're very rarely as iconic as the originals. Can you tell me a Poe Dameron quote?
That's my jacket.
How well do you remember the plot of Matrix Resurrections?
Sure.
But it's not quite as simple as that, because original films are being made, more than ever before actually. They're just not in the mainstream.
Yeah, they're not
You see,
mainstream
when it
at
comes to
all.
high-budget tentpole blockbusters, you're absolutely right. But what about films like Marty Supreme, Sinners, Nope, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Substance? These were massive. Everything
Yeah.
Everywhere won 7 Oscars. Conan O'Brien took The Substance. Sinners is the most Oscar-nominated movie ever, and Marty Supreme had a goddamn blimp. They were big when they released, but
Yeah.
now, not so much. Their moment came and went. Not many people are still talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once. Can you imagine anyone dressing up as Marty Mauser for Halloween in 5 years' time? So yeah, while great original
That'd be a
stories are
fire
being
costume.
told, they just don't linger in the culture for as long as something like Star Wars or Indiana Jones. And there's a lot of reasons why. Shorter theatrical windows and the rise of streaming make movies much less of an event. But also, our culture seems to be much faster paced than it was in the past. Just like a TikTok trend, films have their moment and then it's over. Resigned to best of the year lists on Letterboxd rather than Halloween costumes. and
JRM, thank you for
pajamas.
showing up,
And
baby.
because
Thank
our
you for the
culture is
likes,
so
baby. I
fast-paced,
appreciate it,
things
gang.
have no staying power anymore. Look at this sharp drop off in searches for the
We're watching Why Aren't
Substance.
Characters
And this
Iconic
isn't a
anymore?
comment on the film's quality. I think all of the ones I've mentioned are great films, and I can maybe see Sinners being a future classic. But for the
Sinners,
most part,
dude, okay, so Sinners as a movie, I think will become an iconic movie as people continue to watch it more and more. But any of the characters, I just don't think so. JRM, thank you for the 5 roses, baby. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, my dog. I appreciate you, my dog. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Back to what I was saying. Just don't think Sinners, like, I think Sinners is a great movie, but at the same time, I just don't think the plot went that crazy. I don't think the story went that crazy as far as just, like, how much it really enthralled me. I mean, it really was just a bunch of people getting abducted and turned into turned into vampires. JRM, thank you for the Diney, and thank you for the 5 extra roses, baby. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, my boy. I appreciate it, JRM. Look at you. Is that? I love the Kevin James profile pic. That's fucking hilarious. All right, let's get back to the video.
They kind of came and went. And a good way of putting this into perspective is by looking at something more and more people seem to be talking about recently.
The end of monoculture?
This was the weekend of April 26th, 2019.
Or that's a
and it
movie
seems
culture?
for this weekend, almost everyone was united and brought together to watch the final chapter in the Avengers.
Oh yeah.
Listen to that audience reaction.
It was insane.
Do you know what
So
also happened
so
that
peak.
weekend? This. The long night episode
Oh
of Game of
my
Thrones.
god, that's so true.
And with potentially the exception of Barbenheimer, I think this was the last true pop culture event that
Oh,
basically
yeah.
everyone was tuned into.
It really
It was a shared
was.
cultural moment that reached
Oh.
almost everyone.
Dude.
And just like it seemed everyone was watching
Peak.
Endgame and Game of Thrones, it seemed like everyone was tuned into The Force Awakens. The
Yeah.
whole generation grew up watching Harry Potter.
We were tuned into Force Awakens, though, because it was the first movie to come out since Revenge of the Sith. And Revenge of the Sith was peak.
And co-workers gathered around the water cooler to chat about Lost.
I'm one of the survivors of Oceanic Flight 815.
But what have we had since April 2019? A few breakout movies, maybe Stranger Things or Squid Game reached Game of Thrones level? But for
No,
the most part, the media
it
we
didn't.
consume has become much more fragmented. Let's look at an example.
JRM, keep spamming that like button, baby. I appreciate
I've
it.
been repeatedly told basically every kid on the face of the planet was watching it. The music video has over 1 billion views. But me,
God
a 24-year-old man
damn.
with no real interest in K-pop, knows nothing about it. This is the death of the monoculture in action. When I watched Severance, it seemed huge. I saw tons of content about it online and chatted to people in person about it. But I know it's still fairly niche outside of my own internet circles.
Yeah.
People inhabit different worlds that seem expansive and universal, but in reality it's just the algorithm making it seem like that.
Yeah, it really does. Dude, that's scary. The algorithm really does make you think that the stuff you're watching and consuming is like the most important thing in the world when really there's 100,000 other things that are just as popular. That is so scary.
The monoculture is dead, replaced by individual social media realities scientifically optimized to get as much interest from each singular person. It's clear the culture has changed, so how a certain character operates as iconic must have changed too, right? What does being iconic look like in the 2020s? And this brings me on to the final one of my unscientific, vibes-based tests.
Damn. Those memes were
I don't
bad.
mean memes in the traditional sense, but modern memes, TikTok memes. This is a different kind of iconic to what came before. It's a chronically online, short, superficial, brain-rotted kind of iconic. For someone like Darth Vader, his icon status is very much a celebration of his character. People like him and obsess over him because of how he looks, sure, but also because of what he does and how he works within the story of Star
Yeah.
Wars.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
But for these TikToks, this isn't really the case. Take the Ryan Gosling memes as an example. These don't solely focus
does
on
have a lot
single
of memes,
character. We
doesn't
can
he?
see Drive, Blade Runner, La La Land. These memes
Drive.
don't celebrate his character's role in their respective story. It's typically just a few select clips that can be easily applied to a specific situation or joke as outlined in the caption. It's operating on a purely aesthetic level. You don't even need to have seen the film. It's the same with Patrick Bateman, Joker, J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, or Jordan
Yeah.
Belfort. It's Cliff Booth making macaroni, or Thomas Shelby beast mode edits. It's this
Yeah.
stuff from Breaking Bad, or a kid named Finger.
Oh,
Don't get me
iconic.
wrong, these can be pretty funny, and maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but it's a different way of celebrating the character than in the past.
Jordan Belfort was pretty iconic.
You don't even need to have seen Drive or American Psycho or Breaking Bad to understand the purpose of these.
Yeah,
They
that's
act as
very
short reaction
true.
clips and not much more.
I am the one who cooks microwave.
No, yeah, I think that's really, I feel like that's, Jesus Christ. I feel like that's what really makes a character iconic is if you haven't seen the movie or if like you haven't even seen whatever media the character is from, and yet you can have a conversation with someone about that said character, you know? Like you can talk to people about Harry Potter that aren't Harry Potter fans, you know? You can talk to people about some Marvel movies, not all people, but some people. You can talk to some people about Darth Vader or Star Wars that haven't even really watched it or known anything about it. They just know that Darth Vader's a bad motherfucker, you know?
Truly iconic characters in the traditional sense just aren't suited for this kind of landscape. They're made for a different medium, a medium that is increasingly being replaced by something else, something new. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to be honest in your answer. In the past days, or past couple of days, have you spent more time watching content on social media, or watching a movie, or a TV show, or any kind of fictional storytelling? Chances are...
I try to watch, if I can, I try to watch a movie or show a day. Now that is hard because I bodybuild and stream and edit all my own videos and shit. So sometimes I don't get a movie or a show in. However, I mean, I usually am watching a movie or a TV show. I watch YouTube sometimes. I watch YouTube when I'm reacting to stuff, though. So, like, really, I don't need to watch YouTube that much or, like, short-form content that much in my spare time. Like, when I'm not editing my own content, like, my own shorts or my own, like, reactions or whatnot, I'm watching a movie or I'm watching a TV show. Because I feel like that's how, I don't know. That's just that's my enjoyment. That's how I like to, you know. If I'm not playing video games as well, because, you know, obviously, you know, playing video games and reacting to stuff does take time, but, like, I'd really heavily try to watch movies. I feel like it is good for people to watch movies, honestly. Movies gives you a different perspective on life. Movies teaches you how to deal with things when you are in certain circumstances or predicaments. Everyone should watch movies.
Social media is on top. I know it is for me. Obviously, this is age dependent and doesn't apply to everyone, but it's hard to deny that with the rise of social media, there's been a significant change in the media we consume, and therefore a change in the characters we follow too.
10 essentials I can't live without with Mr. Beast.
In the past,
Yeah,
we had
literally.
celebrities and reality TV, but now we have millions of influencers that can produce content more regularly and reach audiences much quicker than traditional media.
Yeah.
They don't come and go like
That's really
Barbenheimer or
what it
Everything
is.
Everywhere all at once because they can keep releasing content. Content that's fully optimized to keep your attention and reach as many people as possible. Instead of watching Darth Vader, kids are watching Mr. Beast.
We're going on some of the most expensive dates in the world.
Maybe there's no iconic
That is
movie characters
crazy.
anymore because that space
What
has
makes
been
it even
taken up
more
by
crazy is like because of, and no offense to Mr. Beast, but like because of stuff like that, like everyone's expectations are just so high now. You know, what was that video? $1 versus $500,000 date. So like these kids that are like 10, like 5 and above, like between 5 and 25 are seeing what a $500,000 date looks like. I'm sorry, but I don't feel like a 10-year-old should know what a $500,000 date looks like. Like expectations are a little bit too high there at a too young of an age. You know what I mean? But I mean, who knows?
Dates in the world.
Maybe there's no iconic movie characters anymore because that space is
JRM, thank you for the likes, baby. Thank you for the likes.
YouTubers. Mr. Beast can release a video a week that will be viewed by hundreds of millions of people. TV shows can barely release a season every 2 years. In the time it takes for the hype of a movie to die down, Mr. Beast has already made another video. And he doesn't need a recognizable design, an impressive performance, or a catchy theme song because he just plays the algorithm.
In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can get access to all my YouTube secrets.
The entire media landscape is basically unrecognizable as to how it was in the past, so naturally the way characters resonate with audiences has changed too. It's sad, but it's true. Cinema can't keep up with social media. There's a reason almost half of the 2020's Fortnite skins are celebrities and influencers. So, Maybe the most iconic characters of the 2020s aren't from movies or TV shows at all, but are from YouTube or TikTok. Is I Show Speed the new Indiana Jones, going to distant lands not in search of treasure, but in search of content?
That's a way of...
Is Mr.
That's
Beast
a
the
crazy
new Darth
way
Vader,
of putting things.
not using the Force to dominate the galaxy, but giving a life-changing amount of money to whoever can spend the longest chained to their ex-boyfriend? Is Sabrina Carpenter the new Ellen Ripley? Is Archer Green the new Doc Brown? Is Kim Kardashian the new Don Corleone? Content reigns supreme. The monoculture is dead. In the 2020s, iconic characters are whatever influencers, creators, or celebrities are fed to you by the algorithm.
That's crazy. That is actually crazy. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm not gonna lie, because oh man, I mean, I definitely think he's got a point with saying monoculture is dead, but to say that like streamers are now becoming like the, I guess, like iconic characters in a sense, I mean, yes and no, because iconic, I don't know. I feel like there should be a different word for famous streamers. Like guys like Speed in my mind aren't exactly like iconic. They're just very popular right now. You know, like Kai Cenat, very popular guy. You know, Mr. Beast, you could put him, I feel like, a little bit more in that, like, iconic sense. But, like, once you get to that area, that's going more into, like just, like, celebrity status. Not so much, like, how iconic you are as an actual character, you know? Darth Vader is a fictional character. Indiana Jones is a fictional character. All of these iconic movie, TV show characters that we have are from mostly fictional and like non-real pieces of work. And they're also like have different, I mean, they live in different universes, they have different expectations, they have different mindsets, they have different, you know, that's what makes characters iconic, is by being so different. And like guys like Speed or like Mr. Beast, like they're not as much in a sense like different. Like Speed and Mr. Beast are regular people. They just be doing crazy shit with their lives, you know, but it's not crazy like fucking Darth Vader using the Force to come and choke grab someone and put him in the dirt. Like, you know what I mean? It's two different things, like very much two different things, you know? I don't know, but that was a good video. I actually really enjoyed that. All right, let's move on to the next one. Shout out YouTube. Thank you guys.